That was an excerpt from a book, The Ancient Nine, right there. And if you want to get the audio book, you can too, because that is available. But I suggest you go ahead and buy the hard copy and sit there and read it yourself. It's written by a good friend of ours, a friend of the show. You know him as a physician, an author, a producer, just all around great guy with wonderful energy. He's been on here so many years, and he's helped a lot of people improve the quality of their life. And he's back today, the one and only Dr. Ian Smith.
Hey. Always good to be back with you guys. Always.
Man, I just love watching. I watch your Instagram. I feel like we're talking.
Right. That's the beauty of Instagram, right?
Yeah.
You're checking on everybody to see what's going on.
Now, this is fascinating. Heather and I were just talking. Like, we saw this book, The Ancient Nine. I started reading through it, and Heather said, man, when does he find time
to write all of these books?
Well, this book, The Ancient Nine, is very different than my health books.
Yeah.
It's a novel based on my experiences in one of Harvard's elite secret societies. But I started writing this when I was a senior. So 25 plus years ago, I was a senior in college. Didn't know when I was going to do it, publish it, but I knew that my experience in this secret society was so crazy and so different. One day I was going to tell it, and I started writing it early so that everything I felt was still fresh to me. You understand what I'm saying? So all the geography on campus, the club, how I felt when I opened up my eyes, the blindfold came off and see the walls in the club. I want to still have that.
Stop. Hold up. You're going way too fast.
Too deep.
You did. You assuming that everybody knows about this.
Okay. See,
and the way I set it up is we hear about these secret societies, but unless you have access to it, you really don't believe it. Especially on these college campuses. There's been movies made about this.
Yeah.
You know, there's been books written about it. It's been dismissed. Dispel. What is a secret society that you're talking about, and how did you learn about it?
Okay, first of all, the Harvard elite clubs, they're called final clubs, by the way.
Okay.
Because back in the day, they sat at the top of the pyramid of clubs.
Okay.
So they were kind of junior clubs, but the final club was what you want to reach at the top of the pyramid. Started in the 1700s. The most famous people in the world have been members. President John Kennedy, Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Matt Damon is in my club. He came in the class behind me. We brought him in. The Aga Khan, King of Nepal, you name it, they've been members, okay? Very powerful people. But as you can imagine, back in the 1700s, these were clubs that were only populated by white men, very wealthy white men. So in the 60s, mid-70s, when Harvard started admitting women and minorities, they started letting in a trickle of blacks into the club. No women, by the way. Women still not allowed to enter. So these clubs have been rumored for a long time. We own these, my club too, we own these huge, gigantic clubhouse mansions around Harvard Square. You can't tell they're clubs because they're nondescript. They're just huge brick mansions. And you know, that's how it is. So what happens is when I was a sophomore, in the middle of the night, which is what the beginning of the excerpt, the audio you just heard, in the middle of the night, someone slipped an envelope under my door, and it had my name and room number on it. No postage, no return address. So the next morning, I opened it, and it said, the president and members of the Delphic Club invite you to a cocktail party, and it had an address and a date. And that was it. I didn't even know what a cocktail party was. I mean, I was a poor student. My mother didn't go to no cocktail parties, so I didn't know what that was, and didn't know what a Delphic Club was either. Fast forward, 2 days later, I'm in, after practice, I played basketball, in the locker room, the upperclassmen are talking about this is punch season, which means that these secret societies are punching. That's the term they use, like rushing or pledge. They're punching potential members to join the clubs. And they mentioned this name, Delphic Club. I was like, whoa. I got one of those invites. So I went back to the room, opened up that invite, and it was true. It was the Delphic Club. And then you begin the process of trying to get in this club. It's crazy.
How much of that process can you share with us? Like, what
I
is
shared
the
all of
process
it.
in the book.
The beginning of the book, it says based on real events because it's autobiographical. So the main character is me, Spencer Collins, who's a kid who's single mom, other side of the tracks, who mysteriously gets invited to join the process. Now, let me just tell you, just because you get punched doesn't mean you actually make it in.
Yeah.
So each club starts with about 100 guys that they punch, and then after every event, there's a series of events, cocktail parties, dinners, lunches. They whittle that list down to the final 15, 20, and then they get the final letter of acceptance.
And then what happens?
And then you get into the club. And then you see, for years, students have tried to break into these mansions.
Yeah.
Because of all the valuables and the treasures and the
Right.
artifacts and all the rumors. So you never can go into the club until you become a member. And so initiation night, which I don't want to say too much, but in the book, because it's in the book, initiation night, you finally get to go up into the club
And see what's
up. And it's unbelievable.
Ian Smith is here. The book is The Ancient Nine.
So, Dr. Smith, it's not against club rules or
Yeah.
house rules or the brotherhood to start spilling all of these beans?
Well, I don't really know, actually. That's a good question. I did it anyway. I figured it's been 25 plus years. It's 2018. It's a new era. These clubs are kind of from the 1800s, 1700s. So I'm taking a little risk. I'm leaping out a little bit, but
A
my,
little bit.
but my feeling is, listen, this is such a unique story and no one's ever written extensively about these clubs ever. This is the first time someone's actually written it, and I just said, listen, I'm gonna go for it. I'm an artist, and it's an interesting story, and I'm gonna share it.
Now, was your club was it white and black, or?
Well, there are very few blacks. So when I was in, we had 4 blacks.
You have 4 blacks.
And I didn't know them, by the way.
Okay, so you didn't
I
at
didn't even know-
Harvard?
I didn't
really?
even know- no, I didn't know
They
these
kept
guys.
y'all separated. They
Well,
know power and numbers. Power and numbers.
I didn't know these cats. So.
Okay.
And I never found out why they allowed me in. I never found that out, by the way, ever. I thought maybe once I got in that I would know someone in there. I didn't know anyone in there.
What are the benefits of it? Like, since you've graduated, can you call on somebody who's been in that club and get a job, for example?
All the time.
Or get a ticket erased?
All the time. I mean, listen.
Or get a crime swept under the rug?
Well, the crime may be a little heavy, but I'll say this, though. When I was there, the benefit is these mansions have ballrooms and dining halls. There's a whole staff. So they serve us lunch. They serve us dinner. We have black tie affairs. The whole... Just think about like the old 1800s kind of...
He's making it too clean for me.
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no women in the basement tied up on a bed, on a slab or something, and men are like...
Well, there's a scene. There's a scene in the book where one of the events, the punchees and the members go to an event, and in this event there are women involved, and it's an outing. I'll just put it like that. And there's a scene here in New York because sometimes they will fly you to New York for dinner.
It seems like, though, they're recruiting at a high rate. Like, not the average. Like, they're not going to go after a plumber. There's, like, doctors, attorneys. Like, this is, like, the upper echelon, correct?
The upper of the upper echelon.
Okay.
Yes, which is why I don't know why they invited me to join this club. First of all, I'm black. Secondly, I come from the other side of the tracks. I'm a working class family. I didn't have any Harvard connections, no legacy. I don't know. And then once you get in, they don't tell you why they put you in.
But you were a medical student, though, right?
I was pre-med. But still, I'm just no. That's nothing.
What were your grades like?
It wasn't even a grade thing.
It wasn't a grade
No,
thing?
I had good grades, but they don't know your grades.
Maybe they...
That's what
they
you
don't
think.
That you think they
That's
don't
what
know.
I think.
Yeah.
But you see, okay, so the book opens up in 1927. Two students are trying to break into the Delphic Mansion, which is my clubhouse.
Yeah.
One student disappears. Fast forwards to the 80s. When me, Spencer Collins, is being mysteriously invited to join this club, and there are 2 very famous books at Harvard amongst many. One book was in the private library of King James I. Okay, the other book was the last remaining book of the John Harvard collection. All the other books burned up in a fire in the 1700s. The one book remained because a student took it out of the library and didn't return it. Wow. So those 2 very famous books at Harvard, under lock and key, you can still see them today, but you have to be supervised.
Wow.
Okay, and then the last thing is the Ancient Nine. So the Ancient Nine is a group that for years has been rumored to be a secret society within the secret society, and they protect the secrets of the club. And this student, me, is trying to figure out how all these things are connected.
Man, shit. I don't know if I'm hanging out with you.
I
know we going to Chicago for this conference this weekend.
And we're going to be hanging, too.
No, I don't know about that. Stay the fuck away from me.
Is the book out?
Yeah, the book is out,
Stop
man.
following me.
Yeah, the Ancient Nine, man. I just met Dr. Smith, man. Go ahead.
So, Dr.
Sway.
Ian Smith, do you also believe in the Illuminati? What are your thoughts on other secret societies?
I think that there are a lot of secret societies, and I'm not in the Illuminati, but I believe that there are definitely these kind of secret societies. After my own experience, no doubt about it.
Okay.
No doubt about it. And you don't really, like in my club, you don't know who's in unless you see the logo.
Yeah.
Like we have logos on our bow ties and so you have to know what that logo means.
Kind of like the Masons.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a good
So,
point.
hey, we got to, if you can solve the mystery connected to the Ancient Nine, we got a Facebook page. So those listening right now is $2,500 cash. Go to the Facebook page, The Ancient Nine, spell 9 out. No one's won it yet.
Okay.
But there are 3 sets of questions. And if you can answer those 3 sets of questions, you get $2,500 cash.
$2,500 citizens for free. Go to the Ancient Nine, spell out 9 on Facebook. DB and I are going to figure this out. All right, we're going to go into a song and open up these phone lines. All right, Sway in the morning. Call us. You ever been in one of these secret societies? You like Dr. Ian Smith? Music, Oku. For this conversation we're having about The Ancient Nine, a book written by Dr. Ian Smith, semi-autobiographical about his life at Harvard and joining a secret society club and the experience about that. He's the first one to ever write about this from his club. And reason why I'm kind of hesitant to hang out with him this weekend in Chicago. By the way, we're going to be in Chicago tomorrow and Saturday for an event for men called Dirty Little Secrets, put together by Louis Carr, who's been responsible for making over $1 billion for BET Networks in ad sales. And he did it last year, and I got a chance to sit on one of the panels. And it was a great conversation. If you're around, try to look it up, and join us. I'm not going to tell you how. You got to figure it out. Be a part. Are we a member of is this a secret society, what we're doing this weekend?
Well, we can kind of put it in that kind of frame, that kind of context, but ask Luce about his artwork, though.
Really?
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Ooh, jeez. That man got a vault.
Does he?
What?
He's a collector.
What?
Really?
Ain't no more rooms left on the walls.
Wow.
Yeah, serious collector.
Okay,
anyway, Luce is a good brother.
All right. Okay. So we got people on the line, man. This is a great book, The Ancient Nine. We got Blake on the line from New York. Good morning, Blake.
Blake, what's poppin'?
Blake.
Yeah, what up?
What up, Blake? You've experienced this before?
Yeah, listen to me. I was in college, man. I ain't an idiot, so I know my surroundings. I knew what time it was. I seen a group of about 5 wearing the same outfit. They approached me. They were like, later on, we're going to come to your dorm. We want to talk to you. We want to recruit you for something. I said, oh, Lord, I know what this is. I went to my dorm. I thought I locked my door. I heard them banging. I ain't locked the door. They came in. I was like, man, y'all better get out of here. I ain't with that joining gang, college gang shit. It reminded me when I was down in the street. You a blood or you a crip? Get the hell out of here.
It's funny Blake say that, but is it much difference between joining a gang and joining a club like this?
Well, yeah. I mean, these, in the clubs, we do things like, we have memorial dinners. We have, these lunches. We don't have.
So do gangs.
Yeah, well.
They have block parties.
They have block parties, barbecues.
They give out turkeys to the hood for Thanksgiving. Come on, Dr.
Okay, what else?
Democrats and Republicans, man. What side you on?
Like separated. What's different?
I'm an individual.
Well, people always ask me what's the difference between, for example, like a fraternity and one of these clubs.
Yeah.
And I say that the difference is these clubs are like sophisticated fraternities on steroids. Listen, you got guys who are dropping, $100,000, $200,000 a year supporting the club because the grad members own the clubhouse. So they fund. The university doesn't own the clubs, by the way, at all, which is why it's very controversial. The university can't make the clubs go away because they own their own mansions. And the people who are the Fortune 500 CEOs, partners of big law firms, big doctors, you can't make them go away. So the university is trying to make them go away, but it's been 300 years practically.
They just grooming folks to jump into their system to protect them when they do wrong. I
will say that, it is a brotherhood and you can reach out. I can call people very easily that another person couldn't call because I could say, hey, I'm Ian Smith, class of 91, blah, 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 boom. But that's how the world turns. You know that.
So how come there aren't any women? Like, are there female versions, the sisterhood?
Great question. So when the university started admitting women in the 60s, the university said to the clubs, you got to let women in. And the club's like, no, we're not. We own them. It's not going to happen. They did let blacks come in, very few blacks come in. There are some blacks in now. But last year, the university finally took its biggest stance and said, if you don't open up the clubs or disband, we're going to have 3 penalties. 1, we will not give you a recommendation for a scholarship like the Rhodes or the Fulbright Scholarship. 2, we will not let you hold a student government office. And 3, you cannot be a captain of any varsity sports team. So that's the furthest, that's all the leverage they have. Once again, these are independently owned by the graduate members who are the who's who of America.
And you can't be the captain of the volleyball team.
Yeah,
It's the sports. They could have dealt with everything else, not the sports.
But the women tried to start their own clubs, and the reason why they didn't work is because there is no real estate in Harvard Square. All the real estate, you had to have $15 million to buy one of these mansions, and even if you did get that, where would you buy it when it's all taken up already?
Well, Dr. Ian Smith is here. Peoples from Houston is on the line. Good morning,
What's
Peoples.
up, Peoples?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. What do you know about this stuff?
Man, I received a weird message a couple months back from somebody who I thought it was somebody I went to high school with. It looked like a guy I went to school with. He started sending me a message talking about join this group and you'll be protected spiritually and physically. You can get we can give you money at a blink of an eye. All types of crazy stuff. It just sounded crazy to me.
That
you know what I'm
was
saying?
high.
Was it a pimp?
So
Money at a, what are you?
Sweet daddy.
What's going on, man? Did you do it, Peoples?
No, so I started asking questions just because it sounded so crazy to me. And he started asking, he said, but you need stuff for initiation. He says, you're going to need hair from a 3-year-old bald eagle and lion skin and all types of, stuff that...
That's what
made
LSD
no
does.
sense.
Sound like he didn't really want you to be a part of the group. Lion skin.
Piece of the cloud.
Hey, but...
You bring a rock from Mars.
See the fucking dirt
See,
from Africa.
the moment I stopped listening to the messages when he goes, well, since you can't attain these items, you're going to have to download the Cash app.
Get the fuck
man,
out of here.
Yeah, that was what it's all about. Hey, but let's talk about those initiations because
Yes, I love them.
when you look at the movies, you see a lot of craziness. You see, men with animal mask on in a forest and what you call those tiki torches or
tiki
whatever.
torches,
and
So I'll say this, because I don't want to ruin too much in the book. It's in the book. I will say that you are blindfolded. So before the dinner, so there's an initiation dinner where all the alums come back. It's a black tie dinner. But before that, the 2 hours before the dinner starts, you're blindfolded and you're taken through, let's say, the initiation process. And then you get introduced into the club, and then you get welcomed by your brotherhood, and then you have this big dinner.
wow.
It's kind of great. That's why I had to write
You didn't
it.
have to have sex with none of the members.
No.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay.
And now for the final test.
Here's Ian Smith, and here's a sheep.
That's right.
You know what to do with that sheep.
No,
Ian.
that's Dartmouth. That's Dartmouth, not Harvard.
He college begging.
Okay, man.
I want to go home.
Hey, so listen, citizens, you want to win $2,500.
Wow.
Go to this Facebook page, The Ancient Nine. Answer the questions. Figure out the mystery. DB and I are going to try it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Give me an example of
Are
the
you looking
question.
at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the questions.
Well, give me a
Okay.
question.
Okay, so it's kind of they're in succession, so
Yes.
they're all related to one another. The first one is name the book where this passage comes from, the name of the author, the printing edition of the book, year of publication, and page number. So obviously you have to know what book this is to find out where this passage come from. But such and much more wickedness do they desperately commit, who having offended God by their grievous sins, who is so gracious and merciful that he would most certainly forgive them upon their true repentance.
What is that? What,
You got to.
you got to.
If you read the book,
Book.
you'll know the relevance of that passage. That's the whole idea. So it's connected to the book.
So you find that passage, but then it goes further. You have to find the author, the page number, the year of publication. Then they have to
So much fun.
Yeah. It's like some national treasure shit. Like one thing is a clue to another clue to another clue.
And you can win money. All right. Jeez, damn, I don't want you to go, but we got other guests coming.
But listen, hit me up on Instagram. Follow me at Dr. Ian Smith, DOCTOR spelled out IAN Smith. First person who hits me up and says they heard me on the show this morning, my publicist will send you a copy of The Ancient Nine. Check out the audio. The brother who reads it is really, really good. And follow and like that Facebook page, The Ancient Nine, spelled 9 out. It's good stuff. There's a little love story in there too, by the way.
Yeah.
So you know, I put a little love story in there. The guy falls in love with a dining hall worker. So
Did that happen to you?
read the book.
Okay.
You saw his lips?
Start kissing and doing air kisses. I miss it. All right. Dr. Ian Smith, ladies and gentlemen, always a treat to have you
Much
on.
love, man. Much love.
Absolutely. Up next, who we got, DB?
We got the directors and writers of Making of a Murderer.
Part 2, Shade 45.